frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. So frontal lobe here, parietal lobe here. And then as we get down to the bottom here, occipital lobe. Occipital lobe in the back. Temporal lobe by the ear. We got a little bit of connective tissue and blood vessels. Alrighty, so this is temporal lobe. Frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal lobe. Same. Corpus callosum, fornix, olfactory bulb, and tract. Here's the corpus callosum. This is actually white matter, but it's this strip, kind of arching strip, is the corpus callosum. It's really quite easy to see. To me, a surprising number of students get it wrong. You know, I'd say if one person in the class got it wrong, that'd probably be too much, because it's kind of an easy thing. Okay, so corpus callosum. The fornix, not shown so well. It's been cut up. Maybe if we break this open a little bit, it might look a little better for you. See, this thing is the fornix. So look at your brain models. It's not even better over here either. Seems like this is totally a separate, different brain, but it's also been cut. It's this piece here. It mimics it's usually a little arching, and it's under the corpus callosum, but that's it. I'll try and perhaps on Thursday show you a different brain. We have a dozen or two brains. I just picked a couple of decent ones, but it's not decent for a fornix, but that's okay. This is fornix right here. Just a little cut up. And then olfactory bulb and tract. Those also are rather mediocre on the whole brain. Here is an olfactory tract. It looks like the bulb has been broken off at the end. It would probably be here, but that's an olfactory tract. So that's the olfactory tract. It would be right over the nose of a human. Let me see this one. Yeah, it's better. It still kind of looks a little like it's degraded, but that's the bulb is the end, even though it doesn't look too bulby. And then the skinnier part that goes in is the tract. So this is decent. It's not great, but it's decent. Olfactory bulb and tract. The bulb's at the end. The tract is the skinny part that goes in. Okay, if I'm not getting it to you, it's not conscious, just let me know and I'll try and let you see it. Let's look over here. We might see. It's dangling off. It looks like it's been tied off. That black piece of thread is tying off the olfactory. This is probably the best one. The end kind of looks bulbish. And then maybe on the other side of the thread is the tract, where it gets a little more narrow. So that's the best one yet. Olfactory bulb and tract. The fissures, longitudinal, lateral, and transverse fissure. So the longitudinal fissure this is the dura mater, by the way. We'll get to that. So the longitudinal fissure separates the two hemispheres. Pretty big, but it's best to see it on a whole brain because usually the cut is right down the longitudinal fissure when you make a cut of a brain, the sagittal cut. The transverse fissure separates the cerebellum from the cerebrum. Okay, so this is the transverse fissure. Brain is leaking. Transverse fissure. Lateral fissure, no super examples, but we can still kind of see where it is. It's right in here. Lateral to the side. Lateral fissure there. I don't know about this one. It's kind of here. I don't know about this one either. There's all these cuts from a sloppy Bio 182 student. But anyway, here's that lateral fissure. Okay, separates the temporal from the frontal lobe. Lateral fissure. Optic nerve, chiasma, arborvitae, and midbrain. I'm not sure why I put these in this particular order. We already saw the midbrain. So that was the midbrain. I should have probably put it with the brainstem. I don't know what's the matter with me. So optic nerve and optic chiasm. That's seen on the whole brain. This is a pretty good view of it. So here are the two optic nerves. Those two are the optic nerves. They would go out to an eyeball. They've obviously been cut. One's longer than the other. They didn't cut them right. And when they come together, when the two nerves come together, that's the optic chiasma. And there's like a little dimple there. That's the infundibulum right in the middle of the optic chiasm. So I've got the pin. Basically, it's right in the infundibulum, and the infundibulum is attached to the underside of the optic chiasma. So that, and you'll get to infundibulum shortly, but there it is now. So everyone see the optic chiasma and the infundibulum?
Why are you turning it? The optic chiasma is like the wishbone area?
Yeah, the wishbone area. The two branches are the optic nerves, and when they come together, there's some blood vessels in the way. When they come together, where that pin is, it's the optic chiasma. Alrighty, and we'll get to the infundibulum, which is something you need to know. The pin's in it right now. The arborvitae and the midbrain, so just the arborvitae left. It's the tree-looking thing, whitish, lighter at least in color, in the middle of the cerebellum. I don't know if you can see. Once you get up here close, you can see the difference in color. From a distance, it just looks all kind of pinkish brown, but you'll see the arborvitae looks a little different. This one, I think, it was more clear. Yeah, you can see the arborvitae a little more distinctly in this dried up, desiccated brain. And we can't see it there because it's not cut open. All right, so we're good with that row. Thalamus, hypothalamus, pituitary, and infundibulum. These are a little tricky. The thalamus is this roundish ball. It's more or less on top of the midbrain. It's like a spherical, lobular, roundish, maybe like a olive shape. It's a little oblong shape. That's the thalamus. If we looked at it in this one, thalamus, that's the intermediate mass, but don't worry about it just yet. It's this roundish, maybe looks like an eyeball a little bit, that kind of a shape. On top of the midbrain, which looks withered and dried up in this specimen. So you got medulla, pons, midbrain, the bulgy lobular thalamus. Okay, so if this is the thalamus here, directly below and in front, hypothalamus. Very good. So we're in this nondescript area. Nondescript. It's below and in front of the thalamus. And here's the optic stuff. See, there's an optic nerve that's tied off. So this area here between the optic stuff, that would be the chiasma and the nerve, this area in here, a little under the thalamus, but mainly in front of it and under it, is the hypothalamus. I can put a pin in it. That sometimes that helps students because it's... I'll put it right where I would consider the middle of the hypothalamus. That would be hypothalamus. It's just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't have really a shape or anything. It's below the thalamus, as the name suggests. Okay. Pituitary we don't have, so we'll have to wait. Don't cross it off. I'll try and get a different brain that has it. It's been they're usually on the whole brains. But as I mentioned, the infundibulum was with the pin here. So that's the infundibulum, and the pituitary would be on top of it, but it's not here. So that's infundibulum. Okay, almost to the end. We have two more rows. Ventricles and cerebral aqueduct.